This is the TIP Network with Scotty and
this is Grover,
where we talk about social commentary, the culture, combat sports, and self-improvement.
Yes.
And we've got a hot one today, scandalous, and well, there's a bit of beef happening on the manosphere.
In today's news, Florida man buys shotgun for the first time because he's challenged to a fight.
I heard with my boy Peter helping me with my first guns. Shout out to you, man.
Hey, pleasure, Walter. Thank you. Hello, everyone.
And who is this Florida man?
Well, this is no other than Fresh CEO from the FreshandFit podcast, and he was challenged to actually, he wasn't challenged. He challenged
him.
He challenged Preach from Abba and Preach podcast.
So real talk, man. We put out invite. If y'all want to talk shit, come back in the studio. We'll talk about it. Or we could box about it too. Mm-hmm. Come back to Miami. Let's box it out.
Of a Canada to a boxing match where Preach accepted.
We'll put gloves on. It'll be illegal.
You want to set up the boxing match?
Let's go!
Okay, we can set it up.
Both of you bitches.
And now all of a sudden, the Punani of the Year award goes to Fresh CEO buying a gun the next day. Optics are wonderful on that one.
Abba and Preach just released a video. Well, technically, Abba just released a video giving his statement, his thoughts on the perception, the optics of exactly what Walter Weeks, or AKA Fresh CEO, how he's attempting to buy his firearm for the very first time, but after all these events. Right. Now, what the hell is going through Fresh CEO's mind? Do you think this is exactly, do you believe that he's getting a gun to, in a direct way, showing that they're willing to take the volume up a notch up further?
I don't know if they want to take the beef a notch up further, but this is one thing I know. This beef that we see here is controlled. This is two people, but how many other folks have now probably surfaced maybe that they've done dirty? I mean, there's a lot of things that we're going to cover today, that there are some things in the past, some things going on, and maybe a way that they obtained their guests, maybe how they treated their guests, maybe how they're treating people in general, that they may need some protection. I mean, let's just say that you can't keep treating people a certain way, and you could call it holding them accountable, but really what I see it is being overly emotional.
Wait, holding who accountable?
Holding women accountable, and some men. But what I see is just being overly emotional and personally attacking people that don't agree with you all the time. And so there could be a lot of things behind the scenes. I know a lot of times people, they obtain weapons, but I'm going to say the optics are backwards from obtaining a weapon the day after you challenge somebody to a boxing match and that person accepts. Now, they probably looked at this man's background and found that he trains MMA, that he and I mean his pictures,
because they personally called out Preach.
They personally called out Preach. And they
disparaged his wife, too.
They disparaged his wife and his country.
Because not only this, that's why I have a problem. Now, you talk shit about my wife.
This nigga Preach is married probably to a fucking beluga whale somewhere. And y'all niggas talking shit.
And you talk shit about my country. Old bitch said that he was about to send me on a boat to my country, to Haiti.
And let me tell you something. And I'm going to say this probably 4 or 5 times. These gentlemen are 40 years old. They're from my era. And in my era...
Are they 40? I think they're younger than that, aren't
they? No. They're about 40. They're about 40.
Okay.
And in my era, when you're that age, and I have to say it's different from the people nowadays because I didn't have the internet to talk on. So I say something like that. I mean, if I said something like that, I just throw a punch right after because we about to fight. And I think that they weren't quite prepared for the level of intensity that man had. Because I'm going to tell you something. If I will whoop your monkey ass was a picture, it would be that man looking at him. And I mean, I'm just going to say that perhaps they weren't ready for that level of intensity coming back to them. Perhaps Fresh CEO is getting some pressure from other folks saying that, hey, you know what? You've been doing a lot of things. You've been really dirty the way you've been acting. Maybe you smashed my girl and I found out about it and maybe I'm going to do something to you. Because when you're living that lifestyle.
And what kind of lifestyle is that? Please expand on what kind of lifestyle they've been having that's attracting them a lot of unwanted attention. And unnecessary attention, too.
It's that Miami Playboy lifestyle. According to email that was surfaced or a text message thread that was surfaced from Myron Gaines, that they're a lot of Eskimo brothering going on.
What's an Eskimo brother?
Eskimo brothers that you smash, I smash, we all smash. You know, and like a lot of things that are just not in the manhood rules that really established folks came up with. And this is something like I was talking to.
Tell us a story of how that situation would turn it where he would want to have protection against other people.
All right, so check it out.
Give us a story.
Let's say I invite somebody's girl up.
Yeah.
I don't even know that she's with somebody, or I don't care, right? Because, you know, and I say, look, in order for you to come on, you're going to have to do a little something for me. This happens all the time. I get a little alcohol in you, we'll make it good, but we're going to get your likes up, we're going to get shares up, we're going to get your Patreon. I might even set you up with your own page. You want this? I can get this for you, but you're going to have to hit that backroom casting couch for me. And everybody knows what that is, right? Yeah. And then you smash, right? Well, let's say you don't follow through. See, when you smash and you follow through with the arrangement, you know, it's called tricking.
Uh-huh.
And if you're going to trick, be a good trick. Right? You know, if you're going to trick, be a good trick. But if you ain't, a lot of times it comes back to you. I point you to the Secret Serviceman who wouldn't pay that Colombian prostitute and then blew up everything, right? It's the same thing. Years ago. That was about $30 away from not being a problem, but they was too cheap to pay $30. So let's just say, hypothetically, that you don't fulfill your obligation and when you're tricking off, right? Well, let's say that this person goes and now she may make up a story to her significant other how you took advantage of me. Maybe you drugged me. Maybe you got me drunk. Look, there's a lot of accountability on both sides, but let's just say that the accountability doesn't happen on her side.
And would you also say with other male suitors?
Yes. And then somebody shows up and says, well, look, you know, he might have got a hot message like, look, dude, this incident with Abba and Preach let me know that you ain't like you say you are, so I got a little hot still for your ass. I ain't even worried about it, or I'm gonna come see you. You know, and
that could be interpreted in so many different ways, right?
And I'm gonna come see you, and let's just say that you know, maybe the dude that's gonna come see, cause look, Walter ain't no 6 feet tall dude. He a little
He's a little out of shape, a little kind of
little sugar body. You know, he a little soft. Mm-hmm. I mean, people look at me and it's like, man, I'm almost 50 and I'm in better shape than a lot of you folks. So y'all can go and shut yourself up. Mm-hmm. But what I will say is that he was, you know, starting boxing. He's trying to get himself in shape. He wants to take care of the outside. Said he was just focused on making money. Well, maybe, you know, she might have ran to like a 6'3" dude with no money who ain't got nothing to lose, who's going to put a hurt on him and break his neck, and he may be getting a gun. Right?
So I'm going to say this too, especially if you're, women's line of defense is through their communication, right?
Correct.
And to gather people together. Now you can gather a bunch of different males, your male suitors, your significant other, your brothers, your cousins, the whole family.
It's just some beta cucks.
Basically, you got the whole family coming at you.
Mm-hmm.
They might not try to involve gunplay or anything, but at the same time.
But and here is what I'm getting at. I'm so glad you said that. They might not involve gunplay. If you're from a generation where you had to throw hands, where you had to get down, when you said something, you knew something was coming back right away, and you don't know what that person has on you. Look, man, I grew up in the late '80s and early '90s where people was getting shot all over the damn place. So you kind of watch what you said because people was getting lit up. And I know y'all gonna be like, "Oh, that's an old dude." Da, 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 da. Yeah, you know what? Ain't nothing wrong with being old enough to see it and know what's going on. Okay, and so you come from that era, you kind of learn how to behave yourself. But when you're not from that era and you talk reckless and you realize that there may be some accountability for what you said, then that's when you might have to go out and get a gun. But guess what? You're not the only one with a gun, and that's the problem. That's the problem. You're in Florida, where everybody got a gun. I'm from the South. You know, you're not the only one who could do that. So go on and buy that. First of all, you're incredibly myopic, short-sighted, and just stupid for putting it on Instagram Live like you're somebody. That's something that only an idiot who doesn't plan on actually using it would do. Mm-hmm. Because let me tell you something. If I do have a weapon, it ain't never been on this channel.
Yeah.
Because that's for my protection, for me and my family.
You're not going to proclaim it anyway. Mm-hmm. I'd rather have my enemies or people that want to try to go after me or any outsiders be guessing if I even have one or not.
Mm-hmm. You come to, now one thing I say, you come in my apartment, you notice that there is quite a bit of weapons stashed all over the place just in case somebody come in here. But you ain't never seen a gun laying around. Mm-hmm. You ain't never seen it because that's the ultimate equalizer. And so just talking about this subject matter about him going to get a gun today, one of the stupidest things that I've ever seen someone do, because if you do shoot somebody, it looks like you're planning on doing it. So obviously you don't intend on doing it. But
he's leaving some evidence out there too on the Instagram stories, and his name's getting much bigger.
Yeah, it's just idiotic. But you know what? This, like I said, this is one of the biggest things that I heard of. I forgot. I know E40 said it. He said, nowadays these fools on Instagram snitching on themselves.
Yep.
He dry snitching on himself. So obviously he doesn't plan on doing something. But if he does plan on using it for defense at all, man, there's a lot of liability coming this way.
Mm-hmm. Right. So okay, here's a theory of mine. Right.
Right on.
He gets himself a gun because he obviously went to go buy one, because we know that Preach is coming to Miami.
I'll also be on IG in a little bit.
You'll be on IG in a little bit?
We can do that.
Cool. I'll be in Miami next week.
Basically, he can put it grounds where if Preach does approach him and want to fight, then he can stand his ground for self-defense.
I guess, except that you invited him to a fight, that you invited him and that you accepted a boxing match, and that he said, "What type of gloves do you want?" It seems like it's not. It seems like you should.
But the payday wasn't enough. $20,000 coming out from Abba's pocket wasn't enough to get the fight to happen.
But when you invited him to the boxing match, y'all didn't mention no money. You said, "Come on down." As a matter of fact, Myron Bird B. Gaines said that I'll fight you and him back to back, and I was like, "Man, you must really be confident in your cardio." Once again, this is talk from people who ain't never really fought. Who ain't never really fought that type of way where somebody wants to hurt you after saying stuff like that. It was just an emotional talk. And what I've seen here is two people speaking emotional. And now it looks like a check to be cashed that maybe the bank account has some insufficient funds in the ass whooping department.
So what is the perception then that to the audience? Like, I kind of want to know in the comment section, what do you think of him going to a gun store where he wants to purchase a firearm, even though he challenged Preach and Abba basically to a boxing match? Like, how does that even look?
I don't know.
And does it seem like he's bitching out at that point? Because it would seem like it. We're talking about throwing hands. We're talking about they can raise money and give it to a charity. Yeah, that's exactly what they could. People can chime in, tune in on YouTube Live, and give super chats, and they know they can direct those super chats to a charity.
I'm gonna give a shout out to Anton Daniels network, where I was watching him this morning. He's from the Lapeef Network. I watch him quite a bit, and one of the things that he said was, "I did a little checking, and it's not hard to do. And this man's trained MMA for it looks like a number of years, maybe 8." And then I started doing a little checking myself, and I looked at Preach, and he was a dancer, so he's super athletic. He's a stand-up comedian. I see him on stage. I also could tell his build. He got a little dad bod, got a little gut, but his build and them shoulders is somebody who does some physical work, and maybe puts it in the weight room, but probably puts it in. Probably can really wrestle. I'm just gonna tell you something. You got that Daniel Cormier build. With some big arms, he probably didn't want none of that smoke, and that's what that backing down was. That's what that $20,000. Then they sent something back that said, "No, 500,000, or we don't do it." It's like, hey, you was willing to fight for free until you looked into it. So I don't know what the audience thinks about that, but I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say the Punani of the Year Award 2021 early contestant. I mean, we still have some time left for somebody to punk out even more, but I think it goes to Walter Weeks. Walter Weeks or Reeks?
Weeks.
Oh, how about Walter Reeks of Punani? That's where we goes to. And I'm going to go in on him. You know why I'm going to go in on him? I'm going to go in on him because you was talking all of that yik yak, both of you folks, and then when somebody wants to put it up, where I'm from, when you talk like that, when someone says put up, man, I've ran my mouth before, and I'm never going to forget this. South San Francisco. 89, I'm running my mouth. Big Samoan cat comes up and is like, "Well, let's go." And I had to go. And you know what? I got beat up. That happens sometimes. But I still had my self-respect that I ran my mouth. I got beat up. I went home. I healed up, and I came back outside again. I don't see how these fools can come outside after this.
And you stuck it with the fist, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's how the old days was about. I mean, now it seems like people go to the last resort and use the ultimate equalizer using a weapon. Right. To me, that's not being a man. A woman or
100%.
anyone else that's
100%.
weaker can use a weapon to equalize the fight. What makes a man is to be able to stand on your word, be impeccable with your word, and engage in that boxing match. And like I said, bring it to charity. Give it away to charity.
Well, I think the problem probably is that he probably shot him a DM and said, listen, bro, let's just squash all of this. And he probably said, no, I'm coming to kick your ass. And now he's going to buy a gun. Hey, put on the gloves and knuckle up, dude. If somebody insult me and I got to knuckle up for free, I got to do it. No, I didn't resort to violence. You know why I didn't resort to getting a gun? Because number one, I was talking and I had to put up and cash the check right there. But number two,
all right, well,
if I get a gun, they get a gun.
Let me show you what he said. This was apparently was on Fresh Prince CEO's Instagram story.
Here we go.
All right. Not boxing for free and 20K is peanuts. If you really care about your audience, let's set up a live event, but Abba scared. Y'all are bums. My stories don't make sense to you because you don't live a life like me. And never will. It's fine though, video dropping on Wednesday, 7 p.m. Let's set up an event for the people to watch live, but Abba scared to talk numbers. What does numbers got to do with it when you insult a man's wife, insult a man's country, and attempt to, well, you challenge them to a duel?
The boxing, you got our number, hit us up on the side. You know where we're at. We're in Miami, so let's do it.
Yeah. You didn't even do that. You proposed a fight, talked shit. Then when the person accepted, you're like, I'll bring $500,000. I offered you $20,000 to just show up. Win or lose, you were going to get paid. Hand you the check beforehand. And you still cowered out talking about, no, we need to get promoters and all. These guys think everything is about money.
This ain't about money.
And I want to take time to reference something that we spoke about some years ago, Conor McGregor versus Khabib Nurmagomedov. Conor McGregor, it's going to be right up here. I mean, I'm going to even request that you just put the whole screenshot in there for a second of us talking about it, right?
Okay.
You know, and this is the deal right here. When you go too far, it's not about money.
This ain't about money.
And no one cares about your lifestyle.
It ain't about money.
You have to be a fucking man. And you're not a man. That statement right there is a statement of a child, of a little boy who wants to just make all the money he can and maybe smash a little groupies. Hey, that's cool if that's going to be, but don't talk that fight crap then. $20,000 is peanuts. You, no good for nothing, low life salamander. $20,000 will save someone's life right now. So it's not peanuts. What it is that your ass is scared. $500,000 is what you want to come because you think that the bar is just too high. When you first hit the bar, it was I'll meet you, fight you back to back. That was the bar. Then all of a sudden it's serious. Okay, well, I'll give you $20,000 just to show up. No, that's not enough money. Move the goalpost a little further. You're a scared coward. I'm sorry. After reading that, you're a scared coward. I don't care what you think. I'm not, and you know why I can say this? Because social commentary wise, I'm not out here challenging people to fights and not following it up. I understand that if I go too far with a man, because as Kevin Samuel said, there's always a low line threat of violence between men. And if you go too far, you got to put up or shut up. And Walter Reeks of Punani has crossed.
Stinky, like the fish.
Man.
The stank.
Man, hey, like that. like that.
I don't say.
Like that thing I said.
You're trying to put nobody on. Like, come on.
Could put someone on blast, but here's the bottom and top, middle, and bottom line. Right? You're yellow. Like they used to say back in the day. And you have no integrity. Because if you had integrity, you would have went and just did the boxing match. But you don't have integrity. What you are, you're trying to get more views. But how many views did you lose with this stunt?
How many subscribers you lost?
How many subscribers have you lost?
How much respect?
I spoke highly of the Fresh and Fit podcast.
Linked up here.
And behind the scenes, on our Red Pill, podcast, and I said I spoke highly of them, but behind the scenes, I did in fact say, hey, there's a certain things that I don't agree with, but that's all right because men are allowed to disagree. But you went too far. I've never, and I've argued with people over and over again. I've had arguments with this man right here. I've never insulted his family. I've never insulted his religion. I've never insulted his race. I've never done it because you know why? Certain things you can't come back from.
He did insult my choices though, which that's a whole nother story.
Made a fucked up choice. That's what friends are supposed to do with each other.
You can say that's
what friends are supposed to do with each other. And this man is represented as family towards me, so I don't do that. Man, everybody who knows me knows that I believe in 360 degrees of accountability. And I can tell you that Fresh CEO, and I'm going to talk about Myron later, but Fresh CEO has only accountability in the moment, in the moment of what I can get right now. Because he wasn't thinking about that boxing match before. If we've really said, hey, let's do it. He wasn't thinking about that before. During when he was running his mouth, he was thinking about it, and he was probably formulating, yeah, I could get some money. But after, he didn't think about what was going to happen to his overall brand, right? And now he hasn't even looked back and said, yeah, they took accountability and said, you know what? We're just going to keep doing it like this. We're not going to this, and that. But you know what? You haven't looked back and said, I was wrong for doing this. I insulted him. And you know what? Accountability doesn't mean just apologize. Accountability means doing what you said you're going to do and putting up the shut up.
Just let it be known that we actually had high praises to Fresh and Fit, even though we know they over sensationalize things and the way they go after their guests. We haven't done a full critique on that podcast because we had a collection of 4 or 5 other people. There were things that were said behind the scenes with you and I that we were seeing wrong was with the podcast, as well as seemed like there were some character flaws. Now we all have character flaws,
100%.
But the way something was off with the podcast. The guest was off. The whole relationship dynamics was off. And now with this conflict, this contention between Abba and Preach, a lot of it is now being brought up to light.
Yes.
If you've seen their evolution from the very first of their podcasts up until now, you can see the arrogance, the ego has been inflated.
Right.
But I guarantee you, next year, this time, we're gonna lap you motherfuckers. Because you know what? Nobody works harder than us.
Nope.
Period.
And that's the worst part is I love to see a black man get paid. But if you're getting paid, get your money. Crazy.
I ain't never been mad at a nigga making money.
They worked hard. Enjoy the fruits of your labor. I seen a Fresh CEO got that McLaren. Myron talking about, hey, I'm not going to buy my supercar until I close some property. Right on, guys. No, nobody ever begrudges you for making money. When I see people making money, especially black people making money, I get excited.
Young black people too.
Yeah, but the thing is, I don't want to take away from their hard work that both of these gentlemen have done on their platform, and Abba and Preach too. They've worked hard. They've been at it for years. But what I do want to say is that you can't let your hard work feed your arrogance, because it's not just you. You hit a niche. You're hitting something right now. And
you built a community and an audience that follow you almost at your every word.
Yeah, and this audience that follows you at your every word. Every now and again, you're teaching them bad lessons by being just over emotional.
We are better than you niggas. Period. Fuck out of here, man.
And we don't pay for box.
I love it that these guys call themselves alpha and all this other stuff. It makes me laugh because they got such bitch energy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Make sure you like and subscribe and hit that bell for more notifications for all of our latest videos. And where can they follow you at, Grover?
You can follow me on Instagram at IamGorilla1.
You can look down the links down below to check out all of our social media channels.
Yes.
You're going to have a graphic pop up here. I talk about crypto, holistic development, which is a combination of personal self-development with science, tech, and financial information, if you're in that sort of thing. And also to make sure to follow us on TikTok at the TIP Network, where we'll be releasing more videos, and on our Facebook page, Happiness Podcast Project, and also our IG, Can You Handle the Tip _. Eventually we'll streamline all these names.
Live your dreams. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Take care of yourself and just ask yourself one burning question. Can you handle the tip?
I knew I was going to say that. And remember, we can have fun debates. Make sure you leave them comments down below.
Yes, sir.
And
booty in your face.
Boom.
What else?